and you should be able to see this connect option on the upper right side. And we're going to go in there and get our connection string. So again, at this point, I'm going to just give everybody another couple of minutes and then we'll continue. 2, 3 minutes. Make sure you are logged at this point and then we'll continue. Message me so I have some idea. I don't want to be waiting. I have about 35 students in this class. Only half of you have raised your hands. If there's an issue, let me know. All right, so I'm going to continue now to the next level. And please do not send me messages saying somebody's trying to get into the class. I automatically will go and periodically I check the wait room. If keep in mind the class is supposed to begin at 5 o'clock, and if people are not in by 5:04, 5:05, then I start the lecture. And then after that, I do not look at the waiting room continuously, but do not send me messages. All right. At this point, those who have not responded have not responded. And when you guys do not respond, what ends up happening is I'm going to assume you guys are not actually there. And that annoys me because then we waste time for no reason. That there are students who log in, they disappear. And then in turn, I'm going to start giving multiple quizzes during the class time. So if I tell you to respond, I expect you to respond. If you are not interested and you're not actually logged into the class, not participating, log out right now. There is no requirement that you have to be logged in. I'm serious about this. So if I don't see you responding, either by raising your hand or letting me know that there is an issue, I have many other ways, and including I'm going to start just dropping you from the class. If you do not respond and you have not raised your hand, I'm going to just simply disconnect you from the class to begin with. And then I'll start giving quizzes, surprise quizzes, every class, multiple quizzes. You guys can have life which is relatively easy with me or difficult. So when I'm asking you to respond, I expect you to respond. So if somebody has not responded, either raise your hand or disconnect from the class, or let me know there is a problem. There's a reason why I'm waiting at this stage, because the stuff that we are doing now, if you guys do not keep up with me, you are going to be lost. I am going to be giving you a quiz on this and the stuff that we did before. And then half of you will not get a decent grade. And then you will be worried and panicked. Why? Because you simply did not follow through with the instructions while I was giving it. So if you are not going to be in the class, please disconnect. I do not take attendance. And I don't care who's logged in, who's not logged in. But those who are logged in, who are showing themselves as active, then I expect them to respond. Okay, lower your hands, please. All right, so next step is, and I need to make sure all of you are with me now. And if for some reason you're not, take screenshots or record the class. We're going to go into this thing called connect. And what that does is it gives us connection string. This is very similar to what we did with MongoDB, but what's called a connection string. So we have something in here, which is a connection string. But MongoDB connection string was a little bit easier to deal with. This one is not. This one is quite, it's much more difficult. It's the same thing, but the way you have to use it, it's much more difficult. It's not a simple matter of just copying and pasting. So it's a little bit more involved. And this is why I want to make sure you guys are with me and you are not lost. Okay. So first thing we are going to do once you are in here, you're looking at your connection string, which is this thing right here. And I'm going to have it show my password. So watch what I have up here. So this whole thing is the connection string. I can copy it, but I want to copy it while the password is shown. And on my end, I'm going to copy this. Let me just open up Word. Give me a minute. And you may want to open up Word also so that you have it available. So this thing right here is this connection string. I already have this in Word. We are going to copy this and I'm going to paste it right here. So I'm going to say copy snippet. I actually wanted to show my password. Then I'm going to say copy snippet. Then I'm going to try to paste it in Word. Okay. So I've got my connection string. Now, unlike, and I'm going to open up pgadmin now. So you should have pgadmin installed on your computer. It does not matter if you're off by a version or two. I'm opening mine up. So mine is not going to be the latest version either. I know that. And that's fine. So it will give me some sort of a warning message. They keep on updating it continuously. And this one takes a while to load up. So make sure you're opening up pgadmin on your side. All right. So once pgadmin opens up, it looks something like this. I'm getting a warning message saying that I'm running 9.4 and the current version is 9.8. Not a big deal. Does not matter. And I'm not going to repeat this again. So please make sure you understand. It does not matter. So do not send me a message saying I have an outdated version. It doesn't matter. So 9.8 is best, but I have not upgraded it in almost one semester, and then that's okay. So I'm going to just X out of it. I don't really care for this message. Doesn't make any difference. Next, I'm going to expand on my. So when you open up, your screen may look a little bit different than mine. Why? Because a lot of the windows which are open over here, I have closed them. So on your end, you may have these windows open and you can X out of all of these tabs. Next, the important thing is this thing right here, servers. So I already have a bunch. You will not have any, or you might have one, but I will most likely have several already. So you can see I have a bunch in here, and it doesn't make any difference. You will have none. So I'm going to just do this. The most important thing is this thing right here. So we want to be able to go in here and create or register a server. We're not going to do a server group yet. And this is what it will look like. So I'm going to X out of it. I'm going to go back into it one more time. So I'm going to find this thing called servers, and I'm going to right click on it. Not normal left click, but right click. And when I right click on it, it's giving me a couple of different options, and I need to just register a server. So I'm hoping at this time I am going slowly for a reason, because once I'm done, I am done. I will not be going back. So I need to make sure you guys are up to this point. And I did tell you in the class a week ago to make sure you have the software installed. Okay, so register server, and it gives you this. And in here, when it says name, it does not matter. You can call it whatever you want. Me, I'll just call it accounting 341. I can give it whatever name I want. And it's still saying name must be specified. Now, if I move away from it, like let's say I come down here, it still doesn't like it. And the reason is it's not, I don't think it's this thing which is causing a problem. This is just bad design in terms of user interface. What you really need to do is from general, you need to move on to connection. And it's this right here screen, which is the really important one that you need to make sure that we enter information. So I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to just take a screenshot as is. So it says register server, and I'm going to just paste that in the notes. So even though I pasted it, again, know that under the general tab, you have to give it a name. But the important stuff is all on the screen. So we're going to go through this and put information in there. Now I'm going to be going back and forth between my connection string and the screen. So up here, this thing right here, neon db underscore owner. And yours is going to be different than mine. But for right now, just enter my information in. And this will allow you to connect to my database. So neondb underscore owner. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go in here. So it's asking for the username. And the username is that we just got. neondb underscore owner. Yours may or may not be the same as mine. Then I come in here. There's a colon, and you ignore the colon. That is telling you that this is the username, and right here is the password. So this should be my password, npg underscore, and I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste it in here. Password. And I'm going to tell it to make sure it saves my password, because I don't want to go through this over and over again, putting my password in. Next, I'm going to go back in here. So password, please make sure you copy it from right here and put it in there. Next, right here, for me, it begins with EP dash. So I'm going to just copy all of this, all the way up to where it has this slash. And I'm going to copy this. And I will give you a filled out screenshot as well. And that is the host name or address. And notice as soon as I put that in there, that error message I had disappeared. And the very last thing that I need to worry about, well, I should have said we have a couple of things, but the next thing I have to worry about is right after this connection string, they have the name of our database, which is called neondb. So I'm going to copy that. And where it says maintenance database, ours is called neondb. We are not going to touch this thing called port. We're going to leave it exactly as is, and we don't need anything else on the screen. But we are going to go to the next tab now. So again, we started off here. I gave it the name Accounting 341. You can call it whatever you want. If you're doing this, you can just say Professor 341, because you are right now entering my credentials. Then I'm going to go to parameters. And then it says SSL mode, and it says prefer. And that for us, it is require, not prefer, but require. And if you look at my string, it says SSL mode is equal to require. And then it has something else called channel binding require. You don't need to worry about that. So at this stage, I'm going to first go back here. I'm going to take another screenshot. And I want you, right now you're doing it as if it's mine. not your own. So what I'm going to do is really right here after this, I'm going to just insert that new screenshot. And yeah, the other one that I had, this one, I'm going to just delete it. We don't need it. I want you to have the one which is filled in. And how you fill it in is important. And I'm looking at my connection string. So this is a lot more complicated than what we did with Compass. With Compass, we just took the whole connection string, you pasted it, you did not need to worry. Here, when you're using PG admin, you cannot just put the whole connection string. You need to know what all of those different parts mean. You need to know what is the address. You need to know the name of the database, which is called NeonDB, NeonDB owner, my password, and I recommend saving it. Not only that, but under parameters, you should make sure that SSL is true. It's basically required. So at this stage, if I have not made a mistake, if I save this connection string, it will try to connect to it and let me know. So right now, I have this one accounting 341. It just connected to it. And you should be able to connect to accounting 341 right now. When you connect to it, I want you to click on this arrow. I will show you a bunch of databases. So I'm going to expand the databases. There is a Postgres in there. Ignore it. There's a NeonDB in there. That's the one we're working with. Expand that. And then look through these things. We are going to be going through a bunch of these, but for right now, I'm interested in schemas and then public. So, and I'll take a screenshot so that you have this information. But open this up, then databases, then NeonDB, then schemas, then we are going to be under public. Right now, you're connecting to my database. Raise your hands once you are at this point. Again, you're working on my database, which means you need to be using my password, my everything. You're not connecting to your own. So you go into this file, 341 notes, given you my connection string, and copy all the information from there, exactly as I have done. I have also given you the screenshots as to what it looks like. Obviously, the password is hidden, but you know what the password is. I went over that. What I'll do on my screen is maybe highlight the password. So the password is what begins here, right after the colon, all the way up to that @ symbol. So what I'll do is just highlight it in yellow. That is the password. Ignore the colon. So username, password, and everything else you should be able to see on the screenshot. But password is the only thing you're not seeing, but make sure you save the password, that you connect. Once you connect, raise your hands to let me know that you are up to that point. Right now, send me a chat message if you're having some issue. I'm going to monitor chat. Matthew, which app are you talking about? You cannot load up PG admin? Did you install it? All right. Are you getting an error message? Why are you not able to load it? All right. I'm going to let you continue. Does anyone need more time? I'm going to emphasize again, if you are not responding, either through chat or by raising your hands, I'm going to disconnect you from the class. And or, as I've already told you, I would be giving you quizzes. I'll make it a quiz right now. So let people know on WhatsApp to either connect, answer, or disconnect. Do not tell me you're done, just raise your hands. And if you don't want me to bother you, raise your hand. You already saw this happen last week, that when we were doing it with Compass, many of you were not able to go in and enter the information. This is not something you're going to be able to go back and easily understand. All right, lower your hands. I'm going to go to the next step. So once you are looking at this, I'm going to make a screenshot of this. So you can see sort of where we are, and I'm going to take two screenshots. So this is one. And then because it's very long, I'm going to go back into it, scroll down further, and take another screenshot. It's basically the same thing. But now I took another screenshot. And the important thing I want you to know is this thing called tables that you see in there. Or I'm going to go back in here. So once you have expanded it the way you're supposed to, you will see this thing called tables right here. And these are the tables we are interested in, not these or anything else. This thing called tables. Tables are like collections that we discussed in when we were doing MongoDB. So within these tables, I'm gonna right here, click on it, and you don't need to do anything, just watch. So I am going to create a table. Please do not do anything, just watch. So you need to give the table a name, and I will call this student table. Generally, when I'm doing things, I like to use singular, not plural. So this is a student table. And then I'll have columns in it. And the columns represent columns in an Excel spreadsheet. That's exactly what they are. So by clicking over here, I can add columns. So I'm just going to add a column called ID for now. Just watch what I'm doing. Do not do anything. And we can have a whole bunch of different types of IDs. I'll just use something called big integer. And I will say that it's required. You cannot leave an empty value. And it is a primary key. And I have not explained the concept of primary key yet. And then I'm going to add just one more column, which is the name. So let's call it student name. Even though it's implied, I'll just call it student name. And this one, I'm going to make it of the type called either varchar or text. I'm going to make it, let's just call it text. If I can find it, it should have, yeah. So I'm going to just make it of the type text. I'm going to require it, so I make it not null. So this is just one table I have created, and I'm going to take a screenshot. Of all that I'm doing. And I'm going to add it to the bottom here. And I can keep on going, like put in other things, but for right now, that's all I'm going to do, and I'm going to save my table. So I just created a table. You may not see it on your end because you may need to refresh it. So where it says tables, I want you to right click and then say refresh. And now you should be able to see this student table on your end. If you do not see it, raise your hands. If you do not see it, so if you're not seeing it, then you're doing something wrong. And that means I want you to do a couple of things. Try refreshing it again. That's the first thing to do. So go back into tables and refresh. If you're still not seeing it, then make sure that you are under this structure 341, databases, NeonDB. Then within NeonDB, you should be at schemas, and then we are under public, and then under public, we are looking at tables. So a whole bunch of units all nested in. So please go all the way down. Yeah, if you have a whole bunch of tabs up there, you can X out of them. That's what I usually do. You don't need them, or leave them. It does not matter. All right, lower your hands. Okay, so what I want to do at this time, just like we did with compass, I want you to right click on this table and give me 1 second. I right clicked on the wrong spot. I want you to right click on this table. You should see something like this. If you right clicked here, which is what I did, that's what it's going to look like. That's not what we want. So you want to be at this table, right click it, and you should see this option, view edit data, and I want to look at all rows. I want you to go ahead and click on this. So I'm going to do the same thing. It opens this up. And now I'm going to add some data. So to add data, you need to click up here, add rows, and this pops up. If I want to add more than one, I can do it one at a time, or I can just click a bunch of these. I really don't want to add a bunch right now, so I'll just go in here and maybe delete it. Go in here and I'll just delete it. Now, I'm required to enter an ID, and it can be anything. I'm going to just use one, any integer. And I'm going to enter a name of John Smith. I'm going to click OK. So I want you to do the same thing, but once you have clicked OK, make sure you save it. You'll get a message saying data saved successfully. So you can make up any ID you want for yourself and enter your real name. So you're going to click up here, enter any ID number you want, and it's better not to go sequential 2, 3, 4. Pick a large number, like something between 1,000 and 10,000. Reason is you decide on 2, somebody else wants it to be 2, and then you won't be able to save your data. So go ahead, enter. Any ID does not matter, like a large number, 1,000 and higher, and then your name. Enter your real name. And what I will do is periodically refresh it. And then, of course, once you have done it, make sure that you save it. So I'm going to just refresh it, the table, and view edit data. I'm going to say all rows. And many of you have already gotten in there. Perfect. So please keep in mind, this is something which is very basic that I'm going to have you do for your first exam, that you will need to connect to my database and enter some information. I'll have you do your name, but I'll have you do something else as well. And I'm going to periodically refresh. So I can refresh from here, but this is another way, F5. If I click on that, I'll be able to refresh it as well. So I have so for 17 students who have entered information, you should see your name in here. If you don't, you have not done so successfully. And you should be able to see everybody else's name as well. All you have to do is periodically refresh F5. You run a query, and it now is giving me 20 rows. And what I'm going to do is, again, I want you to do it only for your own name. So click on your name, like in that, then click on delete. And you'll see a line going through it. And then click on save changes, F6. And now my name is gone. I want you to do the same thing to your name. So I'm down to these students. If you see your name up there, go ahead and delete your own name. And if you never entered your name, try to enter it right now. Because within a few minutes, I'm going to make this thing unavailable, meaning my password will change. You will not be able to go in and do anything. So in order to delete, I'm going to first create a new name and then I'll delete it. So like right now, I'm going to create a new name. To create it, you click up here and a row opens up. You must give it an ID, and it cannot be the same as somebody else's ID. So if it is, it will not let you save it. So I'm going to just make up a number, a large number, and then I'm going to enter my name. So I just typed in my name. I'm going to click OK. And now it's here, but it has not yet been saved. You see, I must save it. So I'm going to click on save. Now it's been saved, and you'll get a message showing it's been saved. And let me just refresh everything. Okay. So my name is down there. Now I'm going to click up here. and delete my name. That hasn't deleted it yet. I must save the changes. So every time you do something, you need to save changes. Now it's been saved. Okay, so if you haven't done it, this is about to disappear because I do not leave my passwords open. So like right now, you're able to see my password, and what I'm going to do right now is reset my password. So as soon as I reset my password, it's gone. I mean, I can save it and all that. Actually, if I want to show it to you, I can show it to you. But now it's a new password. It's no longer the same password. So I'm going to X out of this. And, obviously the purpose is not for you to know what my latest password is. So I go in here, I'm going to reset it. And unlike when we were working with Compass, I told you make sure you save it. Here, it's not a big deal because you can always unhide and hide the password. It's not a big deal. So now again, I'm going to hide my password, reset it. And now it's really reset. And ignore this download env. You don't need that at this point. That's it. So my password is changed. So now if anybody tries to connect to mine, you will not be able to. So I'm going to go and back in here. So this password is no longer valid, and to make sure now nobody's beating their head against it, I will make this into, I'm going to change it to just password. So when you look at it, you know this has to be your password. This is where you will be putting in your password. Now, your connection string will not necessarily be the same as mine. Mine says NeonDB owner. It might be the same. This thing most likely will be different, which is the server name and all that. So you're going to use your own connection string to be able to create tables and do whatever you need to do. So going back, to create a table, I'm going to just spend a few more minutes and then we are done. I also want you to be aware that next week we do not have a class either on Monday or Wednesday, as far as I know. I'm looking at the wrong. Yep. So on 22nd, 24th, college is closed for whatever reason. I'm not even sure what the dates are, what the reasons are. It may be religious holidays. I'm not quite sure. I did not look at the calendar carefully, but as far as I know, there's no class the entire next week. Then we will meet on the 29th, and there is no class on the 1st. So we are not going to have material for a while, and I'm going to be finishing up on this topic today. Starting with the next class, which is the 29th, I will be going into other material from the book. I'm done with the databases as of the end of class today. We are not 100% done with it because once you go back to the book, chapters 4, 5, and 6 deal with it, and so we will revisit it. Also, a lot of the theoretical stuff I have not yet discussed. So in my notes, we have a lot of stuff which I have not discussed about relational databases and non-relational SQL. Just again, if you go back into my notes, which I gave early on for all these like right here. I have not really explained a lot of these things at a theoretical level. Why? Because I wanted you to get a little bit of hands-on experience. Once you're comfortable with that, then I'll go back and I will explain this in more detail. I'm going to stop screen share for just a minute. I'm going to bring my screen share back up. So I'm going to be just indicating in here that October 6 will be your first exam on databases. It's going to be hands-on. So what do you need to know for it? You need to know MongoDB and Neon Postgres. You need to know how to use Compass and PG admin. And I'm going to have you create tables, which is called collections / tables, and populate them with documents which are called records or rows. And the reason I'm putting these slashes because in MongoDB you will call it a collection. In Postgres you call it a table. In MongoDB you add documents to a collection. In Postgres you add records to a table. Sometimes they also say you're adding rows to a table. And we haven't done this part just yet. Populate them. I'm going to be doing that in the next few minutes. So you'll need to be able to create a collection or a table. I just created a table in front of you, and you need to be able to populate it. You already populated in both by putting your names in. This is an example of how you populate. You should know how to handle connection strings and what they mean. So this is all already now in your notes. We have done it. And so your first exam is on October 6th. It will be during the class. And we only have one more class after today. So when we meet, not next week, but the following week, I will review a little bit of this and just sort of move on after that. But this is what you're looking at. It is in class and it's hands-on. I'm not going to get into theoretical stuff. You will just need to be able to do things live. Like right now, I just announced, enter your name, go. So I'll provide you my connection string. You'll go in, enter your name. Then I'll ask you for your connection string, and you will go in and enter that on Brightspace. And I will then go in and look at your record. So you'll need to be able to give me access to it, and then be aware of security considerations. especially for MongoDB, where in addition to the password, you will need to allow my IP to access your database. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that when it comes to neon.tech. Yeah, there's no IP thing that you need to worry about. It's available by default. But in MongoDB, you'll have to make sure you give me access to it. And we've done all of this already. Okay, so I'm going to now spend a little bit more time how you create tables and collections. So I'm going to go in here. We already created a table called students. So I'm going to just create another table called customers. So I click up here, highlight it. Then I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say create table. Now at this point, you cannot access mine because I changed my password. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do it quickly. I'm going to give it a name. So the name, I'm just going to call it customer. I do not like to use plural, so I tend to use singular. There are reasons for it, and you don't need to worry too much about it right now. Next, columns. In here, I'm going to be telling it what columns, and everything comes based on this. You will almost always start off with an ID. So I'm going to just say ID column, and I suggest at this time you just always make it big integer unless I tell you otherwise. It should always be not null. You always require it. And then something called primary key, which I have not yet explained. But primary key just means that this is something unique in this table. Then I'm going to go add a bunch of columns. So I'm going to add 2, 3 together. So I'm going to just press plus plus. You don't have to, you can do one at a time, doesn't matter. So in here, I'm going to just make it the company name. I'll leave it as the type text. And I'll say it's required. So not null is another way of saying if it's required or not. It's not primary key. Then some information about the company. And in this particular case, I'll use something is active. Are they currently doing business with us or not? And I'll make this of the type called Boolean. So Boolean means it's true or false. And I can say it's required. And by default, we will assume that everything is true. So I'm putting true in there, that if you don't enter anything, it will automatically become true. And let's just add street address. And you don't have to do this right now. You cannot access my account either. And I'll leave this as type text, but just watch what I'm doing. And I'm not going to require the address. So, something might be happening. We cannot enter the address right away. So I'll leave it. So these 3 things are required. This one is not. I'm going to save it. So once the table has been saved, I can X out of it. Oh, and it's warning me about something. It did not save it. Give me a second. And it may be because something else was going on. Let me close out of this. I'm gonna close out of this. Something went wrong with my table. It did not save it. Let me just, oh, I know what happened. When I changed the password, I also got disconnected. Remember, I just forgot about that. It wasn't just on your end. I also am no longer connected to mine. So it won't let me save my, uh, so even though it's not showing it, but that's a problem. So if I come in here and if I try to connect, because my password has now been changed, I won't be able to go in there. So now I'm going to go under properties. This information is still there. Connections. It's all good except password. The It's not going to work because I did not. I need to modify it and put in my new password. So at this particular point in time, he cannot connect to mine. So I'm going to close out of this. If I go up here where it says servers, I can right click that and refresh it. So when I refresh it, I'm going to now again try to go back in there, see if I can. It just let me go back in. This doesn't make any sense. It never lost the connection, I guess, when I changed my password. Something is going on which I'm not quite sure what's happening. Let me refresh and see if I can get back in there. Okay, so what's happening from what I can see right now is even though I changed my password, it did not, since it has not yet disconnected, that session is still active. It has not updated it in here. But when I was trying to save it, at that time, we ran into some sort of an issue. I'm not, again, sure. So I'm going to try saving some data in here. So I'm going to right click and view edit data. And it may or may not let me do it at this time because again, yeah, see, my connection is failing and it should fail because I had changed my password. So for it did enough to just let me create it, but then right now I'm not able to do anything else with it. So but I've shown you already how to create this, and we will review this one more time um, in 1 week, not next week's class, but the following week. And then after that, you'll have your first exam on this material. You can disconnect at this time. One, you can no longer access my account. I changed my password.